All right, guys. Hey, it is Monday night, and it's late. It's late for us old folks. So this is new to me. So we're doing this every Monday night, 8 p.m. Eastern time on the Rick Ginn channel, and you guys know where to find me every Thursday and Friday. So I'm not even kind of go over that. So tonight we're just gonna talk a little bit about like where I came from because a lot of people like, oh, you've been doing this so long. I go, dude, let me tell you, I can relate to the day I started wholesaling because I feel like it was literally yesterday. So the other cool thing about this, if you haven't had a chance to jump on a live, because like the Flip with Rick one, I apologize, but it fills up like 25, 30 deep from day one, from the minute when it goes on, and then you don't get a chance to talk to me. So me and Zach thought it'd be a good idea to spread the love out a little bit. So those you want to connect with me, Zach does, he did a live last night at 10 p.m. Eastern time to connect with some of our West Coast folks. So I would love to hear from people on the West side of the US because I never really get to talk to you guys. So I know you guys watch it and it's recorded, and that's awesome. That's great. So this is really cool. So you can take advantage of this. And if you guys don't know how to do the live, I'll do this real quick. Just hop over to my YouTube channel. Uh-oh. Okay. Now I'm not going to do it because I get an echo in the background. The link is in the right-hand corner. You can go to there. Or if you go over to the YouTube channel, there's a link pinned up in the comment section. Just click onto that. Get in line there. And I said, here's how we do this. I don't really have any rules with this. This is a great way if you want to spend some time. The one-on-ones, really anything about real estate investing. But honestly, I'm wide open. So the idea is have fun and you guys get to know me. And then I eliminate the thing where like, oh my God, I feel like so many people are looking at me. It's simple. So Jamie knows, he connects all the time. He's smart. It's for real, guys. Like I honestly, I just give my time away, but I'll stay on here as long as we have people who want to help us out. So now, Jamie, I'll help you out. It's no big deal. So that's cool. So the comments are on the right-hand section. So if you guys introduce yourself, let us know what market you are in. I guess I should start this out and kind of go off on like a little bit of a rant, but I don't really have much of a rant today. I'm just like, I got to remind a lot of you that I literally started in your shoes and I had nobody on the internet. I had to literally go pay everybody. And you know what, like really ticked me off about the wholesaling business is I would pay people like a couple $1,000 and they find it that they never even did a wholesale deal. And it really, really annoyed the crap out of me. And here I am 20 years down the road and the same thing's going on, but the same people are online trying to promote everything with you guys. So it just, part of my frustration with this business, I'm just going to tell you exactly how it is. More than probably 60 to 70% of the people that promote themselves as guru and coaches online, I'm not going to say they're completely fake, but if you really dug into their stuff, you would be in shock. Let me just put it that way. So I heard a guru today on I want to say it was Instagram, saying he's running 31 businesses. I call complete BS on that one. I could never run 31 businesses. It's almost a physical impossibility. You would have to have such a structure and organization to run that kind of business. And by the way, just because you open up a business doesn't make it good, profitable, or you should promote it to other people. So it just like drives me nuts. So what I'm trying to tell you is the same thing in 2003 when I started out. Is just I had to go to RIAs in person and find out people's BS. And now you guys are getting it online. And it just drives me nuts. Here's the real problem. Nobody calls anyone to the plate to see if they actually do real deals. And that's what drives me nuts. So do me a favor. If you're going to pair up with someone, you're going to do a JV deal with someone, you're going to go to RIA and connect with someone, you're going to even do a bird dog or anything like that, make sure you know who you're doing business with because it can be very, very painful. So I've been doing this for 20 years. I've engaged a lot of lawsuits. It's just a really strange business. So it's I've had a lot of fun doing it. So I started out in 2003. For those of you who don't know, I had a regular corporate job. I went and got a college degree. I did exactly what my parents said, and I hated every minute of it. So I did that for 12 years. And I had 2 small children at the time and a mortgage, and I just said, "Man, there's gotta be something a lot better than this." And here's how I rationaled it, and if you're having the same struggle, we can talk about this today, is I just said, "Man, I can't keep doing this." And I was making decent money, but I was definitely in the middle class, and, I just decided to go try wholesaling. I gave it everything I had, and I gave myself 1 year to execute the plan. I actually got it done in about 7 months, and I made as much in that 7 months as I did an entire year working in my corporate job. And probably one of my favorite days of my life was walking in and firing myself. And I did it in 7 months. And honestly, it's been a whirlwind since then. So that was 2003. So so from 2003 all the way to 2008, all I did was 100% wholesaling. I never tried to do a fix and flip. I never tried to renovate anything. I never closed. I closed on deals, but they were like double closings. I was 100% like wholesaling. I went in the trenches for 5 years hard. I mean hard. Here is my biggest problem is, I did it all myself, and that was probably my biggest mistake. And if you guys can actually learn from my lessons, because, it was painful. So you guys are going, "Okay, he got the 2008." You all know what happened in 2008. I mean, it was brutal. Like, it felt like real estate fell off of a cliff. Now, the reality is, because we're all seeing what's kind of going on in the market now, is it took almost 2 years to find a bottom in real estate. Really, I think it was 18 months total. And wholesaling, the thing is, it worked during that time, but it was just a lot of work. And I tried a lot of stupid things while the market was falling. I actually tried to buy cash flow. I bought a business and I lost over $500,000 of pure cash. It was a horrible, horrible, horrible mistake. I tried to buy a business thinking it could just be run, and it didn't work out that way. And the day I decided to just give up on that business and go back to real estate, I never looked back from it. So I had about a 3 or 4 month break in which I got distracted and I lost a lot of money. So along then I just went back and I got back, when I got to flipping from 2008, I had to make shifts and changes. And you guys are going to learn this as you get old. The goal of wholesaling, and a lot of people are going to go, "What the heck's he talking about?" The goal of wholesaling is get it to the point where you don't have to do it anymore. And you're like, "What?" I go, "I'm here to tell you, I wholesaled too long," meaning the money I made from wholesaling, I just didn't use it wisely. And if you can learn from my mistakes, God bless you, because I want you to understand is you can grind wholesaling 3 to 5 years. And honestly, if you do it right, you never have to do it again. Now, I'm one of those crazy idiots. I actually love wholesaling. My problem is I love working on the deals. And once I get under contract, I'm bored with it and I let somebody else sell it and move on. My perfect day is looking at a spreadsheet of deals, which is what I do. And then we pick the deals we want to work on. And then I deep dive with who's ever running the deal, either Zach or the sales team. And then we find out how we're going to make money and we come up with a plan. And then my job is to help them follow up with it. So I kind of get out of my own way. And I find like some of my salespeople are actually better than I am. I actually feel Zach is better at wholesaling than me. But remember, I was a dinosaur when I started. I taught him the basics and he's just ran with it from further on there. So that's awesome. So guys, comment in the comment sections. I see everybody on the lives here, so we'll be able to get to everybody. So I'm going to give you a summary of what I've learned, like doing this 20 years. I want you to understand. I don't care if you've never done a wholesaling deal or you've done 100. You've got to understand these basic concepts. Number one, I always tell everybody, you got to lose your ego in this business. Wholesalers' egos is one of the easiest way to find out how someone's running a business, and you do it for free. Why? Because people brag. The minute you brag and put me on your cash buyers list, I'm going to eat you for lunch. And unfortunately, I do it all day long. I pick out virtual markets. I could pick out any virtual market. And honestly, I think I would do very well. And that's what I've done. And I publicly tell you, for those people that do not vet their cash buyers list, that let everybody on it, you make it so easy for the rest of us. And that's how you want to do it. So you got to lose your ego. Number two, This money you guys are earning from wholesaling, it's phenomenal. It's great, but you're busting your butt for it. And you have to understand that. Don't be like me in the beginning and go out and buy every sweet toy you possibly can. I bought boats, I bought homes. Honestly, I didn't pay attention to my money. I had a good time and I don't regret it. I learned a lot from it. But honestly, from 2003 to 13, I was all over the board with my money, meaning I knew how to make it. I just didn't know how to manage it. So the problem was when I hit like tough times and the cash stopped rolling in, um, it freaked me out. And so what I'm telling you is you got to take that earned income and you got to turn it into some sort of passive income. Not everything's completely passive. Like even I own lots of real estate. It's not passive. It's still work, but it's money I don't have to go to work for. So, but it's just not real estate. You got to invest in other assets, stocks, whatever you want, digital. And listen, it's all not going to work out. I've lost my butt in a lot of stuff. But the minute I decided to buy assets instead of buying crap, it changed everything. And once I started, after 3-4 years of doing that, you get all this money that keeps coming in. You're like, listen, I'm not even going to go. I don't even work today. And that's how I've done it. And honestly, if I did this back from 2003, I don't even know if I'd be on this live. So I learned a valuable lesson. So you got to turn that earned income and buy assets that will produce for you, and hopefully the assets grow. So typically stocks and real estate, you really can't go wrong there. Pick your digital assets, whatever. I'm a rookie on that. And number 3, this is a big one. This is what got me in trouble. Don't try to keep up with the Joneses. It ain't going to work. It doesn't work. It just makes you broke. Okay. So that goes in with tying in on your ego. Okay. And the last one is you got to be humble, man. Like life's too short for this. If you talk to a janitor different than you do the president, like, I mean, I get it. You get more excited for the president, maybe not today's president, but you got to treat people the same and fairly. Like I don't give a hoot where you came from, what you make. If you're a good human being and you want to connect with me, I'm all about it. If you really want to raise your standards and learn from all the stuff I did, I'm a really good wholesaler. I just made a lot of mistakes along the way, and it's a journey to go through it. So you guys know I had 2 kids along the way. My daughter's in the medical field and she's finishing that up now. And you guys kind of know how my son's journey. And then so I was teaching real estate a little bit. I was doing niche products because I was so tired with all the gurus teaching all these $10,000 courses. And then 2013, it was like an explosion of gurus. And I just said, I'm out of here. And then honestly, I didn't get back to you guys till I connected with my son and he decided to join the business, and the rest is history. So that's it, guys. So like, that's the story. I'm telling you, man, I have struggled. I've worked my butt off. And so I still run a wholesaling business. We run a 7-figure business and we run a very small, lean team. I'm here to tell you, most of these gurus that teach, send out 1 million texts, call 100,000 people. It's all BS because they're spending $30,000 to $50,000 for all this data. And flipping 10 or 15 deals doing that, you're never going to make ends meet. It's physically impossible. So you want to connect with motivated sellers with a slim, lean team, and you can do this forever. The way I run it now, we run on 4 employees total. Everybody's on a commission structure, and I make more money with this than when I had 23 employees, a big office, and the whole 9 yards, and I get complete, absolute freedom. So make sure whoever you sign up, you're on their plan. Okay. And if you're not on their plan, ask questions. Also, if you're looking at somebody and you're inspired by them and you're like, wow, that's really cool, I'd vet them a little bit if you're going to do business with them, especially if they want in your back pocket right away. Most of the people we have that want to come on the channel, they're so excited. I get hundreds of emails every day. When I ask them for copies of HUDs and stuff, it's like they ghost me instantly. And I'm talking about big name people. Okay. So I don't let that crap fly on here. By the way, our Facebook group, Wholesaling Houses for Real, the fastest, most engaged wholesaling group, because we monitor it. We don't let anybody spam in it. And we actively participate in it every day. And we're at 60,000 guys. This group's been going like less than 2 years. We're on pace possibly by the end of the year, but definitely first quarter, to be the largest wholesaling Facebook group, and really done in like 2.5 years, unheard of type of stuff. So that is kind of it. Oh, and here's the final lesson. You ready for this? I'm just going to type this in the comments. You ready? Now I'll just say it. The biggest thing I can tell you walking away is, the minute you want to stop looking rich and actually become rich, your life will change, because you have to, when you want to look rich, it's just about appearance. When you want to become rich, you actually have to take steps, and you have to make sacrifices to get there. And that's the pivot I made really 6-7 years ago. And it took me a long time to get that one. And if you can just get that wrapped up and understand that, stop looking rich and just become rich, it will change your life. Because looking rich is a waste of time. It will make you completely broke. I promise you that. So that's it, guys. So here's what I do. We do a live, and I talk about anything real estate. You want to talk about raising kids. Like, I open this up a lot more because I just don't want to beat wholesaling to death with everybody. I love wholesaling. I'll talk about it all day long. But if you have another questions, you want to ask something about like me and Zach, or like, hey, how do you get kids engaged? Because guys, I will tell you this: if you have kids, like, get really involved with their schools, because the stuff going on in schools is not going to take care of your kids. I know you're taxed to death on it, but the minute I got engaged with my kids and their education, I said, we are never going to let somebody dictate your financial income. You have to take control of it. So you guys have to do the same. They don't teach anything about making money in school. They don't teach you about keeping money in school. Heck, they don't teach you about investing. It's all done on purpose to keep you guys broke. And like, I just want to break that cycle. So if you want to talk about anything like that, the only thing I don't talk about in here is politics and religion, because it's just a waste of time. I just don't care. So it's not that I don't care. I just don't want to argue with people. So awesome. So let's see here. I'm reading all the comments, so I'm paying attention here. So I'm going to jump on some new people that I have never talked to before. And let's jump on with Persa. Persa, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can. Thanks, Rick.
Am I pronouncing your name right?
Yeah, you did. Thanks.
Okay, cool. That's a cool name. I never heard it before. I love hearing names I never heard before, because your parents were original.
Actually, it's my mom's name too, so not too original.
Well, but it's cool. You ever ask your parents, like, how did you come up with that name? They're like, And the funny thing is, I remember when we went to name our first child Zach, they're like, how'd you come up with that name? I go, honestly, I just let my wife pick it. Like, I don't mean to be like that. It was just like, if you ever have kids and you go through this naming process, like, it just wears you out. It's like, and sometimes I feel like the husband, sometimes we always get, stuck with like the middle name, but it's kind of funny. Like, I find names really funny. So where you at, Persa?
I'm in Idaho, but I've been looking at virtual markets elsewhere, because it's really hot market here, and okay. I'm not too like confident that it's gonna stay hot, because of like the job prospects for people are pretty, like, the income ratio is not very great. So I've looked at other markets, like I'm looking at Texas, I'm looking at Florida, but I'm not going to join your section of Florida because you're a pro there.
You're really from like, we're slowly becoming California. But let me ask you, I don't know much about Idaho. It's one of the few states I haven't visited. Are you from Idaho originally, or?
No, I'm not. I've got family here.
Okay. And what's going on in Idaho? Is there a lot of people coming in, and what's going on with real estate there?
Yeah, it's sort of like ancillary to how Utah, I think, is growing. Just a lot of people who have been able to sell and get a lot of equity out of their homes and move to a lower cost of living have driven up the prices of homes. So a lot of folks think that the homes are worth a lot here.
So what kind of population you in right now?
The entire state only has 1 million people.
Oh, wow. Yeah. I mean, I got a county with half that. Like, so.
Yeah. But my question is really about your probate process, because I've been looking at that.
Okay.
I've been sending probate letters based on your YouTube video on it, and about a month and a half into it, and I'm starting to get phone calls. Uh,
Okay.
but I'm trying to understand. I think that you send another letter 30 days after the first one as part of your process.
Well, listen, there's this big myth in like direct mail marketing that whoever sends the most mail wins. I'm here to tell you, wholesaling is a little bit different. Like, I like to find people that want to work with me. I'm not a real estate agent that wants you to send you 10 letters and beg you to work with me. Okay. So you got to like heed the warning, because it's not that it really gets expensive. It just gets annoying. Like, how many letters you got to mail to someone before they respond to you? So I look at this theoretically. If you could only mail, if you said, listen, person, you can only mail 10,000 pieces. I'm just using it for an example. Would you rather mail to 10,000 different people, or take the same 1,000 people and mail them 10 times?
Mm.
I've tested this out. I do a lot better with the shotgun approach. Okay. The main thing with probate is not to drive yourself nuts. Okay. And you got to look at like your response rates and everything like that, which are historically low for probate because it's not a big volume. So I've tried it both ways. So I do the original letter, and then usually what I'll do is one automatic follow-up letter and just tweak it a little bit. You don't want it the identical letter. It doesn't have to be 30 days. Maybe it's 45 days. You don't want to wait too late, because when you catch somebody late in probate, it like the price goes way up. Like, talk to so many people, and if you can catch them early and then they got issues with the house, you're usually a perfect fit. By the time, if they get it to a lawyer and they're waiting for the final sign off from the judge, they don't really need you as a wholesaler. And so you got to do stuff sooner than later. So you can do 30 days and then 30 days, although I would probably do 45 and just spread it out a little bit, because 30 days goes by fast. The other approach that we do is we do the 30-day, and then so I do a ton of postcards for my regular clients. I don't do them for probates, but when the probates, I get no response, I roll them up into my regular leads, and they just get like a regular postcard, just a regular, we buy houses type of postcard. And that's, so the most I would do is a 30-day, then a 45-day, and then you sweep them if you do direct mail and you have like a postcard, because postcards are really cheap and they're easy to send out. You decide. I would never do more. It just, I've tried it a million times. You drive yourself nuts and you spend a lot more money.
And do you call them? I've heard you talk about warm calling. At what?
Yeah. So unfortunately, for 4 years, I was very adamant about like not bugging people in probate. So I've been through this personally, with my own mom, with my like it just, if you've ever had someone die in the family, the last thing you want to do is talk about like selling their stuff. So you can catch someone at the wrong time. And for that reason, but my son convinced me we're missing out on a ton of business. So when he was 17, I said, well, give it a shot and let me look at the data. Well, he did like 9 deals. So I'm like, he goes, Dad, he goes, if you don't call them, the realtors are going to call them anyways, and you might as well help take care of them. So I had to kind of open up my mind and just say, so I said, listen, can we just not call it cold calling? Can we call it warm calling? He goes, well, what do you mean? I go, they give you the slightest hiccup, get off the phone with them. Like, just move on. Like, I don't want to beat the crap out of people in probate. It's a terrible, terrible situation. So yes, we do warm calling. It's a lot more work, but you will usually be the quickest one to them. So I found with probates, the person that connects with them first usually has the best shot at getting the deal. You just got to find out which one to do. I hate cold calling. My son loves it. So it was like we were a perfect marriage when he came to work, when we paired up working together, and he went crazy with it. I'm just like, okay, I changed my mind on this. So it takes a certain knack to cold call somebody in a probate. And we simply talk about buying the property. We don't talk about the probate. We only let the prospect bring it up. We never bring it up. It's not our job. It's not our business. And if they want to share it with us, great. If they don't, we're just interested in buying the asset. Does it make sense?
Yeah. I guess, do you send the letter first, then call?
So we look at like McDonald's, Burger King. So I swear to you on this one, this is truth. I've sent a letter like the day the probate's filed, they get it in a day or two. And I've gotten a call in the letter like, okay, we want to talk to you. And then my son will call. Now he calls as Zach, and that same person will light him up. Like, how dare you? I can't believe you. And then I wind up buying the house. So what I'm telling you is some people respond to the warm call and some respond to the letter.
Okay.
So if you look at the I would send everybody a letter in probate because there's a certain type of people that they just feel it's less intrusive and they respect it more. Okay. Suppose the other person, well, you caught me at this time, whatever, like, let's talk about it. And the person who can call them can, if they get at least a warm reception, they'll usually get the first shot at getting the deal. So I do both. The really cool thing about probates is there's not thousands of leads. So it's like very small.
Mm-hmm.
And our biggest problem is we were being beat by realtors that were cold calling. And I'm like, you know what, forget that. Let's just do that. And Zach kind of came up the way and just kind of soft called them, and it worked out really well. So in a perfect world, I would mail, and if you get the phone number, I would do a warm call, and then you decide if you want to do like one more piece or not. I don't go nuts. 6 or 7 pieces. Honestly, they don't respond. Like, they just keep throwing it away. So don't waste your time and money if they don't respond after 2 letters, in my opinion.
Yeah. One
It's
quick
too
question
late.
on that call. Do you mention the property that's in probate, or do you just say, do you have a house for sale?
No, we just said, listen, we're just interested in your property on, are you the owner of this property?
Okay.
And usually they keep it all business. Either they hang up on you or chew you out, or they keep it all business, or they emotionally throw up on you.
Got it.
And honestly, I actually prefer the emotional throw up, because if they open up to you and they see you're human, you can get through it. So the biggest change we do in probates, we never talk about price on the first phone call. I don't even bring it up. All I'm trying to do is qualify them. And so probate takes a lot of patience. And the problem is, if you give it to a sales team, they want to run through these people and they'll never get a deal. So you got to have someone like who's personally vested. Somebody's got ownership in the company, that if you're okay talking to someone for 45 minutes to an hour, because it's normal.
Mm-hmm.
And if you talk to somebody 45 minutes or an hour and you ask like quality questions in between, you kind of know if the property's going to work or not. And usually they're vacant, they're run down, they're like, I'm scared to list this thing. So I already know it's qualified. I just got to get he or she to connect with me. And I'm going to do everything I can to run over backwards to make it happen. So it works, but I tell you, I do the letter and we do the phone call. I just separate them. So if you're doing the phone call, I just say it's Persa, and then like the letter, I still don't put business. So like I would do Rick Ginn on the letter, and then Zach would do the phone call, and he wouldn't use his last name unless he was pressed.
Got it.
We don't lie to people. It's not worth it. So
Yeah.
some of the older people just like the letters. They really do. They appreciate the letter, and and also when they call in a letter, they're calling on their terms, and they're more receptive to talk to you, as opposed to you hit them with a warm call. It's a bit of a dance for about a minute or two.
Got it. Yeah. If you guys get a chance to create some more content around follow-up, I would love to learn that too. Not talking about price in that first conversation makes me wonder how the rest of the process kind of works.
Well, so the average probate takes 6 touches before you get a deal.
Okay.
Why? Because you can't be that aggressive shark. You just have to be the follow-up. Go, hey. And all I do is, by the end of that phone call, if I can just solve one problem for them, I can get it. And that's like, so because they're expecting you to hammer them on price that first call. So don't do it. And that way you can ask qualifying questions and patiently spread them out. You can ask, well, the 4 qualifying questions really come down to 3, like, because it's not as pressing. The key with probates, if you catch them early, you control everything. If you catch them late, you get a lot of flack with realtors, and then you got to go through lawyers, and it's a nightmare. Okay. So remember, if the PR is designated to, run the probate, they have the ability to enter into a contract. Once they enter into a contract, you and the seller are now in control. If they want to have a attorney do stuff, but you're not controlled by the attorney. Now, if they say, listen, I have to go through my attorney for everything, then it's a real nightmare. Attorneys, they just make everything difficult. I dealt with 3 today. They're just like, I'm just trying to buy one property and the guy's making it so difficult. I'm just trying to wire them the money and he keeps creating problems because he's billing the seller. And I'm just like, I go, you're getting ripped off by your attorney. So catch them early. That's all I can tell you. That's why the warm call and the first letter and then maybe one more letter and that's it. After that, you don't want them at the end because basically they already gone through probate. They've transferred the title of the property and you're going to pay top dollar by then. There's no value. We don't have as much value in the end. So let me ask you, what's your average median price there in your town there?
I think it's around 320.
Yeah, I mean, so is Idaho, is it pretty, what's the capital there?
It's Boise, and that's the hottest market. Most, like, I think it's been in the news a lot as the kind of worst bubble in the entire country, just because based on how much money people can actually earn versus how much house you could buy.
Okay. So always keep this in mind. You're fine doing the virtual market. You know how to do the research on your virtual market, right?
Yeah.
Just let people's egos run and just take advantage of it. It's just the truth. That's what I do. I don't hide it from anyone. If they stop doing it, we wouldn't have to do it. And number 2, always be vigilant in your own market because eventually you will find a deal that comes up. The problem is, 1 or 2 here and there, like you're not going to get one every day there. So just be aware of it because I just bought a property in like a very high end, like waterfront, but I've been waiting 4 years. Wow. And I worked the guy for 4 years. I go, please call me when you want to sell it. And now, like out of the blue, of course, when I bought something else, he's like, okay, I'm ready. I'm like, yeah, of course you are. But I know what I can do with it. And I know the higher and better use, and he doesn't know it. So go with it.
So don't discount my own market is what you're saying.
No, never. I'm just telling you, never. Florida's really expensive now. But the rents are like, everything goes proportionate. Guys, listen, when I started, you're talking about the bottom, my average sale price of house was $40,000 in Florida when I was started. And I thought it was really expensive back then. And the funny thing is I've lived in 3 houses I've bought as wholesaling. I convinced my wife to live in it. 2 of them, I thought she was going to leave me over. It just like sometimes. So the problem with wholesaling is people like, can you buy your own house doing it? You can, but remember wholesaling, the houses pick us. We don't pick the houses. So it's like hard on that one. It's like, I'm just telling you, like when you have a family, if it's just you, then it's fine. But if you have other people you got to care for, they're never going to be happy at like moving in someone like the wholesaling house. But every now and then, like the one I live in now, I did a creative financing deal, but that took 5 years to put together. It was a nightmare. But I was patient and I waited. I knew exactly what I wanted. When the guy messed up, he called me and we put the deal together. So never discount your local market. Just keep your eyes because the values there and enough people. And you've talked about an entire state population of 1 million. That's amazing because you can get to know everybody there. So who's the most famous person in Idaho?
Ernest Hemingway, I think.
Okay, really?
Yeah.
So who else is there? I have a lot of friends that live in Idaho. It's kind of, but I've never been there, but they talk about it all the time. So I got to figure it out. So.
Well, you should come visit sometime. Come see.
So how's your winters there?
I'm in southern Idaho, so they're pretty mild.
Okay.
But you can go up to the mountains if you like snow.
Yeah. So is it hot there right now?
Oh yeah, the desert.
It's like hot everywhere, man. Like it's a really hot year.
Yeah.
We're not talking about global warming today, I promise you. So.
Okay. Well, thank you so much.
Anything else I can help you out with?
Huh?
Anything else I can help you out with?
Oh, you've answered a ton for me. Thank you so much.
Okay. Well, you know where I am if you need to get a hold of me, okay?
All right. Thank you.
Okay, awesome. Okay, guys, if you want to hop on, I think the link's pinned. The link is in the comments on the top, or you can go over to Rick Ginn YouTube channel, guys. If you're not subscribed there, please subscribe there because I've been working on a bunch of videos to release stuff that I've never released before. And the idea is kind of give you special content you want to connect there. But I've had Sean waiting here. What's up, Sean?
Hey, how you doing, Rick?
Good, man. Where are you located?
Good to see you. Palm Desert, California.
What part?
Palm Desert.
Oh, wow. Okay, cool, man. I never get to connect with people on the West Coast. Not often, because usually we go on like earlier. So I spent 10 days in California, and it's so weird, like watching sporting events at like 5 and 6 o'clock in the afternoon. It's like we're so used to watching it late over here.
Yeah.
So I was watching what was it, the Stanley Cup Finals. Interesting. So what can I help you out with, man?
Well, I've lived here for about the last 20, 22 years, so I'm not native to this area. And my hometown's up in Oregon. But
Okay.
but I've been trying to get into real estate for a long time, and especially about the last 6 or 7 years, just kind of going through different things. I was with Ron LeGrand there for a little bit. I, did a couple things here, and I just never really got started, either for fear of possibly losing money because of something I didn't know, or I was trying to find people to work with, and I couldn't find it because just too busy working all the time. So
Okay.
I guess it boils down to now I work 2 jobs, 6 days a week. So how can I get started with little time and little money? And I don't, my credit's kind of shot, kind of in debt right now, but
Okay.
I'm trying to change all that for my family, and I just don't know where to begin.
Okay. So let's start with the basics. How big of a family do you have?
Oh, I got a family of 4, my wife
Okay.
and 2 girls. Yeah.
Okay. So young kids, older kids?
1, 9, 1, 19.
Okay. Kind of spread out there. Girls, boys?
Girls, both girls.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you got your hands full. So
Yes.
I don't know about like you, man, but like and like, Zach was far from perfect, but girls, like on fathers, it's just more taxing as a father with a daughter. Let's just say it. Like, I'm just going to tell you how it is. Like, I constantly worry about her.
Yeah.
Anyway, so okay. And then what type of work are you doing right now?
I'm a mail carrier,
Okay.
and
Cool.
I also work a part-time job sales at a retail, Big Fives.
Okay.
So yeah.
What kind of sales is that?
Big Five sporting goods. So it's a
Okay.
kind of retail cashier. Yeah.
And I assume your main income is on the USPS, correct?
Correct.
Okay. And how long you been in with them for?
About 3 years.
Okay. Okay. I'm going to ask something. You don't have to answer it. How old are you?
52.
Okay. So I'm 52 too. So
I know.
I'm here to tell you, like, so I didn't figure this out till I was 33, but honestly, the first 10 years, I gave it all away. Like I made every mistake in the book. Like, but I did learn how to wholesale. So, so I'm here to tell anybody, it doesn't matter how old you are. It like, I think you learn till the day you die. The minute you don't want to open up and learn new things, like you're done. So,
well, I never stopped learning. That's why I continue watching, and I love watching.
I can tell you stories. Now, I had a friend that I don't think he does it anymore, but he was a mail carrier here in Florida, and we worked the deal out together. And I want to say it got him in trouble. It wasn't my idea; it was his idea. And he would give me he would actually give leads on like, people behind on their mortgage or notices, stuff like that. And then he did something stupid, like all the other people, and created a course on it. And I think he got fired for it. And actually got in a lot of trouble. I told him not to do it, but you can't do that doing that. So when I was 33, I had it, dude. I couldn't take it. I told my wife, I go, listen, I'm going to die in this job. I hate every minute of it. So I worked for Enterprise Rent-A-Car for all you people want to do. I had the formal degree, the whole 9 yards. It didn't matter. Like at the end of the day, I was freaking vacuuming out cars. I had to sell everybody everything, and I had to manage a staff. And I tried it for 12 years. Like I gave it the old, and I just said, my wife goes, you look miserable. I go, I hate my job. I just hate it. Like it's very monotonous. And I waited till I hit a wall, and not going to say I had a nervous breakdown. I go, it just, how much worse can it be out there? I know I could probably get this job back anytime I wanted. And so we came up with a plan and said, listen, why don't we keep the job? Because I got to pay the bills. We got to get the kids taken care of. We got to get diapers. And then I'm going to go out in the evening and nights and do this. And my wife thought I was absolutely nuts. But that's how I did it. Back then, there was very few ways to educate yourself on this stuff. You actually had to go find someone and shadow them. And basically, I would give them 2 or 3 deals, and then occasionally I got paid. And that's how I learned wholesaling. And I learned it a lot of the wrong way. But either way, is what I'm getting at is you have to make a plan because your hands are full. Like I'm not even gonna like that. So if you want to do wholesaling, the really cool part is the learning it is a little bit of the taxing part and then the action plan. But like once you figure out wholesaling, it's not a 10, 12-hour a day job. It really isn't. So let me give you what I would used to do. So I was a big direct mail back then because that's all I knew. I did that and door knocking. Okay. I didn't even know how to pull government lists, any of that crap. I did pull foreclosures. I understood that. So I'd knock foreclosures in the evening and I did really well with that. I was scared to death. And that's what got me one of my first deals. And then I would do small batches of mail that I actually, ready for this, I hand addressed the envelope. We hand addressed a letter to increase our odds, and I do 500 pieces a week. But when people called back, I could, back then they could leave a message and you could deal with them on your own terms. Today, leaving a message is challenging. Like, because if somebody calls you and they don't have a live person, they tend to go on to the next person. So I would get calls in, I would set appointments, and then I would try to go see everybody on the weekend or occasionally at night. And I learned at night you couldn't really see the house, and it wasn't really the safest thing to do. And honestly, that's what I did for the first 7 months. So you talk about my 2003 and early 4, that's what I did. So I knocked foreclosures on Saturdays. I hated it, but I knew it would probably get me out of there. And then I would do small batches of mail on what we just did absentee owners back then. And I would buy not big lists, but I would pay a guy to pull it for me. And then the calls would come in and I just dealt with it. And that was it. Like I didn't leave my job. And I'm telling you, I had a girl the other day. She's like, "Oh, my husband quit my job. What do? I go, tell him to go get it back." Like I can't, like so many people think you get rich quick wholesaling. It doesn't work that way. You figure out how to make good chunks of money, but you got to put in the work. There's no overnight getting rich in wholesaling. I'm here to tell you. You can make a phenomenal difference getting a $30,000, $40,000 paycheck, but like you have to work for every one of them. It is earned income. So the idea is if you kept your current job and you could come up with a 6-month plan to get 2 deals, maybe 3. And if you go with, listen, if your initial thing should be to replace your part-time job to get that out of your hair. Okay. So you have to have a plan and you got to figure out how to attack it and what you're going to do. The beauty of wholesaling, guys, honestly, I worked 80 hours a week and did wholesaling. My job was brutal. I had to be in the office at 7 and I left at 7:30 at night. And you got to get up at like 5:30 to get that all done. I had to commute to work and do the whole thing. So I had a ridiculous boss and I did it. And a lot of times I had to work Saturday and do that. So how long it takes you to execute that plan is kind of up to you. Everyone's different. Some people take a few months. Some people take a year. I think it could be done within a year. But you got to have a plan that like you and your spouse like agree on. Because if she doesn't, it's a nightmare for you. So I had to sit down with my wife and go, here's what we're going to do. And if I don't make it, I'll just go back and just get the regular job or pick up the second job and move on. And I thank God I never had to do that. But you got to come with a plan and start with your family and like work it backwards. So I would attack however much money you make in that second job. If you can do wholesaling and replace that right away. And the key is don't go out and buy a car. Don't go on an expensive vacation. Set that aside and then use that for some of your wholesaling operations. And then get up and going. And then if you want to leave your other primary job, it's up to you. I have a lot of friends that are firefighters, paramedics and stuff. They do wholesaling full time and they absolutely love it. They really love their jobs. So if you love your job, I tell people don't quit your job if you love it. Like some people just love what they do. So the whole point of wholesaling is so you can get freedom in your life and do what you truly want to do. And we all get stuck. I got stuck in a job for 12 years. I can't get that back. So you're the same age as me. Like I'm here to tell you, like I'm going to do one deal this month that will make more than I made my first 3 years of wholesaling. So it's a skill set you learn and get better and better. when you get really good at wholesaling, you're so good at it, like it doesn't require a lot of time. You just get some other people to help you do it. And so I'm sure you get great benefits at work. I can tell you one of the downsides of being a wholesaler is I pay $1,500 a month for insurance for my family. It's ridiculous. It only covers 3 people. Zach's on his own. I make him pay his own crap. He makes plenty of money. And so like there's some downsides when you're on your own because you don't get the benefits of like corporations, the benefits you get with that, but I don't care about 401ks and all that other stuff. I work on that all on my own. So I would just write out a plan and sit down with your wife. And honestly, you got to go with the common sense approach. Get rid of the second job and then decide if you want to keep the USPS, if you could make that amount of salary in 1 year. And then you kind of make that decision. But honestly, I tell people all the time, like, if you like your work and you're not miserable, like, don't quit. Like, you don't have to quit it. People think so much. And then you got to decide if you're going to do it locally or virtually. Being in California, you got that fun part of it too. So,
well, I like my job, but here's the thing. I would like to, get good at wholesaling and do it full time. And I know that once I get into something and I learn it, I usually get really good at it. And I want to do it more and more. And that's the whole thing. I mean, it's just trying to figure out where to start because I hear all these good pieces about the title company and the cash buyers and the cash sellers. And then I'm sitting there thinking, what prevents me from getting started is, well, now I don't have a title company. I'm trying to look for a title company. I don't find a lot of title companies out here. I don't find a lot of people out here. And then I'm like, well, now I need to look for cash buyers. I go to Facebook. I find 10,000 cash buyers. I don't know which ones to go to. I start writing comments. I don't hear a lot back. So, it's just.
Yeah. So here's the deal, Sean. Like, honestly, everything you're going through, I don't care if you pay for someone's course or go through my free wholesaling.com. You're going to have the same issues no matter what when it's all said and done. Because, like, a lot of people, like, dude, I've paid somebody $100,000 to learn something, to have them. Now, I've had a few of them were phenomenal. They were especially. I paid somebody $100,000 to learn a certain technique in real estate and find out they didn't know it. You want to talk, like, I wanted to kill them. So, like, I'm here to tell you, you're going to have to go on that journey one way or the other. I'm here to tell you, I've been through 20 years. I put Zach through at 5. Dude, the kid made $100,000 while he was a senior in high school.
Yeah.
You're no different. Like, honestly, it wasn't. See, a lot of people confuse wholesaling. It's not a aptitude. How smart are you? And that's where our society struggles. We emphasize incredible grades and like high IQ. The reality, the people making the most money are not the brightest. I'm a living proof. I'm not that smart, but my follow-up is insane. It's off the charts. So, number one, wholesaling is not for everybody, and I'm okay with that. I'm actually happy with that. It takes a special person to do it. But if you have that fortitude to do it, you just got to go through you're going through the journey one way or the other. Like, everything you just described, it's the title company is the easiest part of the whole thing. Cash buyer, honestly, the easiest part. The challenge is always going to be in marketing and working with the motivated seller. The rest of this, honestly, I could teach it to a 5-year-old. The biggest problem you have, Sean, is right up here. You got to grasp this. Like, the minute I decided, I made $100,000 a year in a corporate job working 80 hours a week on a W-2 paycheck. And I thought I was making real money. 3 years in the wholesaling, I made my first $1 million just working by myself, all by myself, not my son, nobody else in the business. And it opened my eyes up. I go, I can't believe I settled for that little money for that long. My family suffered. It was ridiculous. And I went along this ridiculous journey for 20 years to find out. I once met a UPS guy. He was giving me financial advice. I'm like, you're a UPS guy. And I made the mistake of judging him because he was UPS. He was sitting on $7 million because from the day he worked from like his early 20s all the way till he retired, he planned for every dime. And like, not, I think there's easier ways to do it, but like that one sunk home on me. It's not always how much you make, it's what you do with the money that you actually keep. And that was my biggest problem doing it. So being 52, you can't afford to make the mistakes I did. So when you make that first 50 grand, make sure you're investing it into something that will free you up over time. And that's the biggest thing I can tell you is wholesalers going out there flashing their Lamborghinis, all this stupid stuff. Every time someone does it, I know how dumb they are. I saw somebody the other day with like, they were doing an analysis on a Porsche to a Lamborghini or something. I'm just like, really? Like, that's what we're going to do on a wholesaling channel? It's a joke. So, Sean, I think you just got to kind of work your big term plan out in your head. The action stuff, I'm telling you, freewholesaling.com. I literally give you everything I've learned. I lay it out. And I'm not even charging you. So I look at this when people like, oh, well, Rick, I got to spend money on marketing. I go, I didn't charge you $5,000. So you're way ahead of the game. Go ahead and do it. And worst case scenario, you take my course, you don't like it, go pay somebody. I don't care.
I'm partway through your course, so I love it.
Yeah. So it's this business is simple. We're complicated. I was set in patterns and working for a corporation, and it took me a while to unwind it. But I always thought making $100,000 was like the mecca. But remember, that was back in 2000, way back in early 2000. Now I look at it like, I mean, honestly, $1 million isn't a lot of money anymore. It's not. Like, I'm just telling you guys the truth. Everything's being eaten alive. So you got to go out and like fight for your family. You're a smart guy. You can talk to people. You can figure this out. You just got to pick out your markets, and then you got to come up with a plan with your family. And understand, it's a plan. It's not going to go exactly how you plan it out. It's going to, but is your conviction going to stay and get through it? And that's where most people fail in wholesaling. They don't have the deep conviction to get through the first time their aunt goes, I can't believe you're doing that scam. Like, you're ripping off little old ladies. I'm like, I don't do that. Like, honestly, at the end of the day, I don't do that. Those are con artists. I have nothing to do with that type of deal. So, is there anything specific I can help like answer to you? Because honestly, no. You just got to do it. Like, I wouldn't quit. I wouldn't quit your main job. And I would come up with like a 90 to 180 day plan for the second job, because I was scared to death when I started wholesaling. I'm like, what if I fail? What am I going to do this? But then I started asking my questions. What if I actually do well in doing it? And honestly, if I stayed in my fear factor, I wouldn't be talking to you today. Zach wouldn't be where he is. Zach at 22 is so much further ahead. I don't remember what you were doing at 22, but like, I just was doing stupid stuff. Like, I didn't know any better. My dad wasn't in my life at the time. So it's like, I hated the corporate world. I hated everything going on, but I thought that was going to give me the shot. And I tell you guys, if you guys just do wholesaling, if you grind through it, honestly, if you can sacrifice 2 years of your life, I'm not going to say your life's a cakewalk, but you will never have a financial problem again. Depends on what you do with the money. So I know it works. I've been doing it forever. And my biggest fear, Sean, was I was going to run out of deals. And here I am 20 years later. I never run out of deals. And I'm doing my favorite thing because I can work with people just like you and everybody else out there. A lot of people like, well, Rick, I want to work with you one-on-one. I'm giving you like the gift. If you want to JV with me, just JV with me. Like every Thursday, Friday night, we go on and show you how to JV with us. Now, that's big boy stuff. When you send the deal, you got to have something with teeth in it. Otherwise, I'm not going to waste my time either. I'm not a real estate agent. I'm not here to sell like things for top dollar. But if we work together, you get a phone call from me. We talk, we work on the deal. And then guess what? You get my phone number. We connect with each other. And I'm the only person, me and Zach are the only person that offer like a mentorship where we actually don't charge you anything. You can work with us, connect with us, and then you split the profits. There's nothing else out there like it. But I have strict requirements. I'm not going to waste your time. There's another guy or gal out there who charges you $1,000 just to submit a deal. Hundreds of thousands of dollars just to, like, in fees they get just to submit a deal. That's like it's ridiculous. So I think you do great at it, Sean, but like you've got to like write down your why and how involved is your significant other in this?
Oh, she's on board with it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So come up with a plan. And if you want to like, but it's got to be your plan. I can write it for you, but like, I'm not in your, like, you know, a lot more details in your life. So I got excited when I wrote mine down, and then I used a whiteboard. I wrote it down and we came up with it. And then I just looked at it. I go, hell or high water. I'm in 6 months, either I'm going to be looking for another job or you and me are going to be doing wholesaling just like this. So I took my wife out as a school teacher. And she's like, well, you know, it's safe, all that. I go, listen, help me out, do one deal and I'll replace. she helped me do one deal. I think we made $45,000, which was her exact salary. I go, you can do this every month. She's like, holy crap. And so like I opened her up, highly educated, everything. She's like, I can't believe you can make this much money doing this. So I hope I help you out, man. Like life is a short journey. You and me are only going to be on this planet so long. Like make it count. Like at the end of the day, your kids don't care what you do for a living. They care what you do with them. So that was kind of my impactful moment when my kids were getting around 5 or 6. I go, okay, I got to do something because I'm just like a regular. And listen, wholesaling is not for everyone. I tell everybody that.
Well, I appreciate everything that you and Zach do.
Yeah,
All the videos.
yeah. So we've made it, guys. We made it easier. So Zach jumps on Sunday night and I do Monday night outside of our normal stuff. So we're doing 6 days a week. And honestly, this would cost you a couple $1,000s for anyone else, even just have this conversation. And the really cool thing about our conversations is I don't hold back because I don't have a course to sell you, but behind the door here. And that's the problem with most gurus is they can only give you so much information because you have to pay to get the other stuff. So, so I would sit down with your significant other and go, okay, listen, Rick kind of gave me some ideas. And then if you want to have a next topic, go, hey, here's my plan. And then I can go, okay, that's realistic. You're going to have to give that a little bit more time. And then, okay, what's your plan to attack your market and stuff from there? So go with the family plan first and then just keep breaking it down.
Thank you, Rick. Appreciate it.
Okay, Sean, good luck, man.
Thank you.
Okay, awesome. Okay. Alonda, you there?
I'm here.
Hello.
It's Alandu.
Alandu, right?
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Good, man.
Alandu?
Where are you calling from?
Chino, California.
It's like a California night, isn't it?
Hey, California not.
That's all right, man. California's a big population. So what's going on, man? What can I help you out with?
Dude, so thank you first and foremost, Rick. So when I first found out about you and your son, I told Zach this when I spoke with him live one time. You and I have something in common because I worked for Enterprise Rent a Car too for like 2.5 years.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Yeah. So
it's, yeah, let me tell you, did you ever see, I think it was Step Brothers, Will Ferrell, at the very end, you know, he had to go get a job and he's like, he does this whole spiel on Enterprise Rent a Car, you know, like make you your own boss. And,
yeah,
you remember back in the day, I was out there vacuuming cars in a suit. And I'm doing this in South Florida in like 100-degree weather, sweating my butt off. And it was like, I put them in like 12 years. I gave them like everything. And I gotta be honest, like I had the worst bosses in the world at Enterprise. And I remember Andy Taylor owned the company because he used to fly in a jet to our airport here. And I'm like, you got the biggest idiots working for you. And like, but I saw all the turnover in the company and I just like, you know what? This isn't what I signed up for.
Yeah.
And so I did it. I was actually a whatever they call it, area district manager.
Yeah.
And I would go out and shop real estate deals like in the evenings, on the weekends, and anytime I had a free lunchtime. And the greatest day is I walked in, I just said, I quit. I'm done. I hate this job. And they're like, what? I'm like, I hate it. Like this is the turnover here, everything you do. And like I tried to get fired for like a while and I go, you know what? I don't need this crap anymore. And I just said, but honestly, like my tolerance just got to the point where I go, whatever, I can't take it anymore.
Yeah.
And so you guys got to make a point. Zach was fortunate enough to be young enough to be brought up and catch him at the right time to do it. But a lot of you guys get out there, if you're like me, I got married, I got kids, I made a lot of commitments when I was a young man that I probably shouldn't have been making. And I had to fix it. So it was like, I hear a lot of people, I'm the first one to say, do not quit your job overnight. Like, don't do that.
Yeah.
So it's, if you got a family and kids to take care of, it's like, holy crap. And it's like, and then everyone's like, oh, you got to do this college fund and you got to do this. I'm just like, college didn't do much for me. Why the hell would I put my kids through that?
Yeah.
And so when we came to go to college with our kids, like they had most of it done by high school on purpose. And My biggest advice to both my kids was get through school as fast as humanly possible. There is no benefit to it. I'm sorry. So it was a benefit to my
Right.
daughter in the medical community, like, and I support her, and that's her passion. She wants to help people. But Zach wanted to do business. I looked at him. I go, I don't even know why you're going to college. He goes, the whole thing's paid for. I go, okay. And he went away a year and a half, and that was it. And he did cold calling from he got his entire dorm room recruited. And I used to go up there with bags full of cash to pay all the kids. And they love Zach to this day. Like, all his college roommates are like, man, you're the one who like really did it. Zach goes, it really had nothing to do with college. And so,
Nice.
So what can I
Nice.
help you out with, man?
Nice. Yeah, man. So, well, first and foremost, I'll say you did really good, like, raising your son. So, like, kudos to you for that.
You know, I'd like to tell, like, so you guys, like, if you have kids, like, it's just weird, like, with kids, like, some parents want to take all the credit. Like, I'm going to give, like, his mother was a big part of it. Like, I'm not going to like sit here, like, you don't see her because I keep her out of this stuff. She just enjoys her privacy, but it's, having two parents was a big help with them. Like, it's just a lot of stuff that my wife did with education and stuff like that. So she got them through the schooling quickly.
Yeah.
And then when it came to, like, when my son became a young man, I took all my lessons and my dad's failures and said, listen, I'm not going to let this stuff happen. So
Got it.
I remember in high school, I was trying to figure out how to do, like, all these sports. And all my mom wanted to say is like, oh, you know, my poor baby's going to get hurt. And I needed, like, a dad that would kind of man me up at the time.
Yeah.
And that's where I kind of had to shift with Zach. I go, okay, you know, you can do this, you can do that. And to me, it wasn't about, like, making him a pro wrestler or anything like that. I just said, listen, if you can do this 4 years, it will have lessons to pay you the rest of your life. And honestly, I started him with cross country because why not? Like, you challenge yourself. You only have to beat your personal record. And then I introduced him to wrestling, which I did late in my high school career. And I was okay at it, but, like, honestly, it manned me up a lot. Like, it just took me out of my mama's, like, arms and go, I'm gonna make a man out of your son.
Yeah.
And so Zach just took it. So I taught him weightlifting and how to grow his body. And then I taught him how to do cardio. And then honestly, he did the rest. Like, the last 3 years was all Zach, like 100%. Nice. He went nuts with it. And he had this knack, like, when he'd take a skill set, he would dive so deep into it. He was so good at it.
Nice.
And then I made him go get a job at a local grocery store, him and his sister. And he goes, I don't want to do it. I go, I don't care. Yeah, I'm going to show you what it's like to earn a day's wage. And he did that for 2.5 years along with his sister. And he just said, listen, there's got to be a better way. I go, okay. So a big part of Zach was showing him all the hard ways of life and showing him what it served up. And if you want to go on that path, you can do it, but it's going to be brutal. The number one reason why families get in arguments and parents get divorced is over money. Like, you can sit there like, oh, we don't fight. Bull crap. We fought, like, when I was young, like, we didn't have money. We fought over money more than I care to admit to. And I think everybody can admit to on this call. So I just said, hey, so he came to me and says, like, you know, he saw a check on my desk. He goes, that's more money. And I'll probably make my next 10 years. I go, why? So I just said, you know, I gave him a couple books, and then I just saw how it was going to work out. And that's how we did it. And so sometimes, honestly, like, a lot of people, like, they come to me and go, hey, Rick, how do I get my kid into real estate? I go, it doesn't work that way. You have to prime them before you do it. Well, how do you prime them? I go, you show them how tough life really is. And I convinced Zach early that you will never survive on an hourly wage. And in the future, a salary is going to be really, really tough. And he finally saw that working at the market. And then he goes, well, I can't do it when I'm 16. I go, why? And I remember a light bulb went on. I go, well, you know, you joined the wrestling team. You're on the varsity team your freshman year. Like, wholesaling, there is no JV team. You just joined the varsity team right away. And that's it. And he did it. And honestly, in 3 months, he was off and running. I was like, holy moly, I created a monster. And that's it. I would like to say and a lot of people think I groomed him from day of birth. No, honestly, until he was like 14. But he was around it. But like around 14, he started paying attention a little bit. And the biggest mistake you can make with your kids, if you guys talk about kids, is don't force them. Educate them. Teach them about money. Teach them how money grows. Teach them the difference between earned income and passive income. None of this crap was taught to me. I didn't figure this stuff out till my 30s. And the sooner you guys can figure it out, it's not always about how much you make. It's like, how do you take that money and make it work for your family? And that's the biggest challenge. Wholesaling, in my opinion, is probably one of the greatest ways to get it going as fast as possible with a little amount of risk. Here's the reality. Most people wholesaling, they only need to run for 3 to 5 years, and then they're out of it. Like, they can do whatever they want after that. Okay. Some people do it like a big team and do it like that. Some people just do fix and flips, do all sorts of things. I did short sale flips for a while. I did like real novations, the way you're supposed to do them. None of this crap going on today. The way they're teaching novations for the beginners, people are going to wind up in jail. Like, it's bad. Partnering up with a distressed homeowner is a one-way ticket to get you in front of a judge for fraud. It's bad. So you guys, you can't do novations without like involving a lawyer. It's suicide. You got to do liens. You got to do power of attorneys. And if you've never done that before. So anyways, I got off subject there. What can I help you out with? Alonda, you there? I think I lost him. What I was trying to say on that one.
I'm here. I'm
Are
here.
you there?
Can you hear me?
I lost it. Yeah, I lost you there.
It's all good. It's all. I was trying to turn my camera on, and then I guess I cut myself off. I was like,
it's
dang.
okay, man. It's okay.
No. It's all good. It's all good. We were right on target. So, the last guy that you spoke with, I mean, it was right in line with like what I was going to talk about, like in terms of your response to him. So I appreciate that. I'm kind of in a similar scenario. I don't have 2 jobs. I am married. I have 3 little ones. I got two girls and a baby boy. My oldest daughter is 4. Second girl is 2. Our son is like 6 months old, right?
Okay.
And so just like yourself, we're gonna take a different approach as well too. And yes, it does require a lot of work and such, but I'm the only one that's working. And I work at a used car dealership now. So that's my full-time job.
Okay.
And you know, I have been wholesaling, and you know, there have been some deals that I've gotten here and there, but like it would never go through, like, you know, to the finish line. My thing the biggest challenge I have right now is consistency. I kind of made a mistake, to be honest, Ray.
Okay.
So I definitely got my wife on board, you know, with wholesaling and such. But then let's just say I fired her like a few weeks ago.
You can't fire your wife.
I know.
Ask me how I know.
How do you know? How do you know?
Because I have a wife.
Yeah.
Yeah, she helps out with a lot of our dispositions operations, but like we don't see eye to eye on everything. Like some of our deals are difficult. She's like, I don't even want to deal with this one. I'm like, I always tell people I don't pick the houses; they pick us.
Yeah.
So it's like it is what it is. So I don't know if I can help you out with the whole spouse thing, but like what specifically can I help you out with?
So we I mean, today, even before you brought me on, we were even talking about, you know, just collaborating, you know, and other means and whatnot. We're on a positive note, so it's not anything malicious or anything.
Yeah.
But,
So like, honestly, I'm thinking about like releasing a video on here. It's going to take me some time to do it on like when you work with family, because it's specifically your spouse.
Yeah.
It's I've learned you have to institute rules or you get in trouble, because business is not personal. It can't be. It's like, we got to make a decision. We have to move on. You can have input on it, but the decision has to be made. So many marriages, a lot of decisions are pushed off until they become dire. In business, you can't do that or you go out of business quick.
Right.
So like we have rules, like there's certain things like you can't, and it's not always the popular thing, but that's the challenge. So a lot of people know this, like when I started at the bottom, like my wife, she helped answer phones. She helped do a lot of stuff. Like there's so much stuff like the spouses do that they don't even get credit for.
Yeah.
But like my wife supported me when I didn't make like jack. Honestly, my wife supported me when we got married. That's a true story. It's
That's what's
embarrassing, but
up.
it's truth. So, but if you're gonna do business where you got to set like some ground rules on like, so like establish like business time. Like my biggest pet peeve is I don't want to talk about business like right when I'm going to bed because like my mind races. I'm like, like I'm thinking of
Yeah.
all the things I got to do in the morning.
Yeah.
And so, but I've been married 26 years, so we kind of we picked up a rule about each year along the way. And it's like so when it came to wholesaling, like there's just certain things like she doesn't want to work Sunday, and you got to make these decisions, and then I'll make this. So she's really good at dispositions. I suck at it. So like I just put her in
Mm,
charge of it, and she runs the whole thing. And
got it.
honestly, she'll come back and make like an extra 30 grand. She's like, look what I made the company today. And it fulfills her, it makes her happy, and she loves that part. But if I put her in accounting, she hates every minute of it. So like I finally went out, hired a bookkeeper, a CPA, the whole 9 yards. So in the beginning, you got to do this stuff, but like make a note of like what your wife hates, and your job's to find someone to take it away from her and go, listen, I listened to you, sucked it up for 2 years. Now I'm going to have someone do this for you. What do you like to do? And just ask them. And
Hmm.
so many times we don't ask them. And that's where you can get in trouble in a marriage. Like when you make your wife do something and she's trying to support the family, she hates every minute of it. And like you don't acknowledge it, it'll create problems.
Got it.
So it's hard, man, because wholesaling is like when in the beginning, it's like 24/7. It felt like the first 2 years. It
Yeah.
didn't stop, man. It didn't
Yeah.
stop. I was like
Yeah.
always on the phone, always doing this. I was like, can you help me? But
Yeah.
like she was good. She would help with the phones and this. We could overflow. Can you call this guy? Set me up an appointment. And but then when we got up and running and we had to do departments, I wasn't the best manager. I was actually a really bad manager, and that's
Mm.
where I created problems. So she left the business for like a year or two, and then she came back. Once again, she's like, sometimes you don't know how good you have it till you leave, and then you come back. You're like, yeah,
Yeah.
come back.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
so what specifically can I help you out with? So by the way,
That.
you're one of my favorite people to bring into wholesaling because if you can deal with used cars, you're a
Uh.
tough guy because some of my best salespeople have come from used car dealerships. Like every time I go buy a used car, I walk away with 2 employees every time. That and bartenders,
Oh,
hands
really?
down, hands down, the best acquisitions people I've ever hired in my life,
Oh,
hands
wow.
down, because they enjoy talking to people. They understand it's a process, and
Yeah.
they know how they naturally do the dance. They just need to understand the process, and once they understand the process, it's easy. And then you somewhat get to choose the customers you work with. Like when they're really difficult, I just move on. But like when you're
Yeah.
selling a used car, like you're stuck with that pain in the ass guy that's never going to buy anything and ask you like 3 million questions.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. And that's what that's what I appreciate about wholesaling. And even when I found out about you guys, because I found out about you guys from a podcast that you guys were on last year. And
Yeah,
I was like maybe 10, 15 minutes into that podcast, and I found out you guys had a channel. I paused that. I went straight to your guys' page. And
yeah.
but my thing is the challenges that I'm having right now, Rick, is with my schedule. So there'll be times. So I have there'd be times where I would go in like maybe from like 11 to 8, or sometimes it'd be from 9 to 6, or whatever the case may be. And
Uh-huh.
I will work around it, but there'll be times where I may be with the customer beyond the time that I clock out, which doesn't really leave me with room to, make calls, or, whether it's during my lunch break, if I have a lunch break, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's kind of what I've been battling with.
Well, like
Like,
here's what I'm going to tell you. Like there's no easy way to slice this. You and me both get the same 24 hours, period.
yeah.
So the only thing I can tell you is like, I get it. Like, I just bought a car the other day and my poor salesman, I had to reach out on a Sunday, like to deal with something, but, you just kind of got to get to the point. Like, listen, I get it. You got to connect with people, answer all their questions to it, but you're going to get the same 24 hours everybody else gets. You just like, honestly, if you really want to find out what goes on in your day, just take a simple notepad and freaking note what you do for 3 days in a row. You'll blow your mind how much time you wait. I do it to this day. I'm just like, I could have got up an hour earlier. I could have done this. I could have done that. I'm not one of these guys that gets up at 4 a.m. Life's too short for me on that. So I'm here to tell you that you're going to have the same 24 hours as every other human being. You just got to make a priority on like what you want to do and how you want to do it. I've already told you, once you get up and establish in wholesaling, meaning you get a few deals and understand your systems and how you're going to attack it, it's not an 8-hour day job. Honestly, 10 to 12 hours per week can have you up and running in wholesaling, but you got to understand the processes and how to get through it. Doesn't matter if you pay someone or you do it for free on me and Zach, you have to go. There's no shortcut to the journey. Everybody wants it. Honestly, if I could have done it, I would have loved it too. But I'm telling you, dude, to make one deal, make 30 grand, you know, how many cars would you have to sell to do that?
Yeah.
And you got to look at it like that. So it's like, one you look at as a short-term fix and the other one's a long-term fix. And you got to make a plan, and you're the only one that can make it happen. So here's the deal. I'm going to tell you the same deal I did with Sean is come up with your plan, and then I'll help you out with the wholesaling stuff. The personal stuff, I can't really help. You got to make decisions, man. It's not going to get better. How old are you?
36.
Okay. So you're still really young, in my opinion. So if you want to make a change and do it now and just kind of like make it, man. Like my son at 17 was in high school, was making 100 grand, wholesaling extreme part-time with just, and honestly, I taught him exactly what I taught you in freewholesaling.com. I just had him find motivated sellers, connect with them, and write contracts. And then I helped him along the way on that stuff. The biggest thing I can tell everybody on this, if you can just use freewholesaling.com, which I have not put up the banners. I'll put it up here. I've been busy talking. And just find these people, talk to them, build rapport, ask them the 4 qualifying questions, write a contract. You can even partner with me and I'll be happy to split it with you. I don't like, honestly, I'm going to do something like no other coach, guru, or anybody else has done. I mean, wait a minute. Where did I put it? Xavier here, like he did a deal with my son. I saw the deal came in, like they worked together and they got it done. And he made money without risking anything. And he got a great education. And Xavier will be connected. I'm going to talk to him. He's going to talk to my son. And now he has a leg in with us. So you guys go, hey, listen, I want more from like you and Zach. I'm giving everybody a reason to connect with us. So Thursday, we're going to go hard in the paint, talk about like JVings and like how we're going to do it. And I've made a serious investment of getting highly qualified people to help me get through it. I go through all the lists you guys submit. So like, I know your names, I watch for it. So if I see Alando come through, it's great. If I see Jamie's deal come through, but like, I don't play favorites. Like I look at the numbers, dude. I look at the data. Like I love the name and I want everyone to win, but like, it's got to make sense. That's how you learn in business. And once, like Xavier, once he recognizes a deal, he's going to go out and find 5 others just like it. And you know what? For the most part, I want Xavier to do his own deals too. I don't want him to depend on me the rest of my life. But in the beginning, it's a perfect fit. So keep that in mind. So just go out. You got the same 24 hours. Come up with a plan. And if you want me to review the plan with you, I'd be happy to do it. Come back here next Monday, or you can catch me on Friday, maybe even Thursday. Thursday is a busy night here.
That's fair. That's
okay.
Fair. That's fair.
You got to do your part. Let me help you with the stuff I know, because I can't get in like your personal life, because we all
I got
have
you.
one.
I got
and
you.
Just get that and go, okay, this is it. This is the plan. And then you can make little adaptations, and then you just get up and going. So you're getting ready to approach August here. It's a great time to get started.
Absolutely.
Okay.
And it's my birthday next month too. So
there you go. I know that nothing better to start with a wholesaling gift. So
yes, indeed. Yes, indeed.
Okay, bud. Let me help a few more people out here. I'll talk to you.
I appreciate you.
Okay. So let me just do a couple comments on here. I got Russell. What's up, Russell? He's in Port St. Lucie, so he's right around the corner for me. Totally new to this. Focused on virtual wholesaling. By the way, you have a great son, and I'm sure you're very proud. I am. So Russell, you're in a great place. That's the beauty. It doesn't matter where you live to do wholesaling, guys. Like, you dictate your life and how you want to do it. And that's cool stuff. So Jason asked me, how are things outside the business? Great. How's fishing? I haven't been doing it as much, but I'm getting ready to do a really, really big fishing trip here, and I'll update you guys. But I'm not going to miss any lives while I do it. But it's going to be a lot of fun. When I go fishing, man, I go hard in the paint. Like, you have no idea. Like, that's, guys, I do wholesaling. The other thing is because it allows me to afford my fishing habit, which I really enjoy. And by the way, investing, I always talk about passive. There's things you have to invest in your life to like make your life manageable so you don't go crazy. Instead of me going to a bar, I go fishing. So that's a whole nother conversation. But Nicole says it's 96 here. What's up, Lisa? Lisa says, my daughter's a Stuart firefighter medic. That's awesome. My daughter's a nurse locally here. And trying to get her interested in this mom and daughter team. Boy, I'd love to see that. So you know where to connect with me on it. So awesome. So let me jump on. Victor, are you there?
Yep.
Old reliable Victor. How you doing, man? He's rocking in that chair, man.
Yeah, in my son's room. So I'm glad I'm not the only older, newer wholesalers here. So,
dude, honestly, I don't know if I could have handled. I'll be honest with you. The way I was raised, I couldn't handle the wholesaling when I was young. I was too much of a wild child. And then if I got the money, oh my God, 4th of July would have been out of control, you know? So I'm like, you know, it's like, I started in like my mid 30s, and I already told you, I had to fumble my way through it the first, probably 7 to 9 years. I openly admit I made a ton of mistakes. And so like, I'm here to go, like, now I make it count. So I have a lot of fun, but like, age, honestly, doesn't matter. And honestly, sometimes the more wiser, mature you are, but like sometimes like when you're younger and like reckless, it kind of helps Zach out in a way. Cause I taught him to be fearless when he was young, but you know how that can go really bad on like a very young person. So I always weigh people's expectations, because I've trained a lot of people on here who are really young, and I got to sit down and go, listen, you are not invincible. Like, let me just tell you right now, like, you're going to deal with like and it always comes down to people's egos. Like, you got to check it. And the older you get, the more you got to check your ego. Cause honestly, I don't care. You're never going to see my car. You're never going to see my house and its own purpose. Why? Does that help you? Like, my house doesn't help you. I'm not selling anything. I live in a really nice place. Like, that's it. Like, I'm in where I've dreamed for 20 years where I want to live. I'm exactly where I want to be, because I put it in my life and I fought like hell to get it. But I'm not going to say like, why. All my friends know what it is. So become good friends with me, and you come on over and check it out. That's how I look at people. And how do you get friends with me? JV with me. I love doing it. And like, people ask, like, honestly, some of my best friends are the people I did deals with, because there's something really magical when you can make money with someone that you didn't know. And like, they help you, you help them. And they're like, hey, yeah, I'd love to do that again. I'm like, great. That's awesome. And that's what I love doing it, because trying to scale wholesaling across the entire country, it's not an easy feat. It's hard. And so what I'm doing is I have to constantly, as I say, I'm not a big fan of like hiring people, but I bring people in my company that understand, like, hey, listen, I bring people in, and then they help me with all the underwriting. And if it passed the snuff test and it gets to my desk, then we have a great conversation. My favorite thing in the world is to sit down and look at like 40, 50 properties every day. So I only produce so many leads out of my company. So like, I depend on you guys, and it's a perfect fit. So how can I help you out today?
Jeez. Man, yeah. Where do I start? Well, actually, so today I went over to the code enforcement in my city.
Okay.
Well, sorry, I didn't go to the code enforcement. I went to the police station, and then they sent me the contact information of the code enforcement, because apparently they don't have an office.
Okay.
And I need to retrieve the. I don't even know if they have a list, but I guess the property addresses, or the addresses of the properties, via email. So what would be the best way to, I guess, to word it in an email on requesting the properties.
You're talking about code violations?
Code violations, yeah. So should I just say, I'd like to get a list of code violations within the last 30, 60 days.
Yeah, just give me the most recent list of code violations. Would you like me to come by and pick them up, or you just got to make yourself as open and transparent and friendly as humanly possible. People are really ice cold on email. I'm sorry. Like it just sucks. I don't get anywhere with emails. Like I have to know somebody, like honestly, in emails, they're really ice cold. If you can go in person, it's a tremendous difference. But most of the time you're going to be rejected on emails, just so you know up front. They're going to have some BS stuff they're going to put you through. A phone's a little bit better. At least you can gauge their temperament. And kind of email, you can just did they type in all caps or not? That's about the only thing you can pull out of it. I hate it because they send you another department, did this. I never get anywhere on email. Unless you want to send the list to me via email, I'm okay with that. But so in the old days, just so you guys, I used to go with a box of Dunkin' Donuts and hand it to the girl. You just fatten them up a little bit, and they give you what you want. But it's but I gotta be honest, I eat a lot of those donuts, so I got fat too. So I stopped. I stopped doing that. So it's but any type of thing that you can make them. And so guys, whenever you go into try to get these government lists, there's usually a girl or a guy behind the desk. They're going to have family photos. If you start with the photos, you will win every time. Oh, is that your son? Does he go to that high school? Oh, I sent my kid there. It's a great place. Do they do dance? Do they wrestle, football? And once you get them to just get off their job and focus on their family, they open up to you. And now you're dealing with a person in your community as opposed to an employee of the government. And an employee of the government, they're brutal, man. They're brutal. They'll eat you alive. So you got to switch that. So the problem with email and stuff like that, it's and usually they'll go like this. They'll go like this. They'll go, hey, Rick, come here. And then they'll put their little microphone recording. He goes, hey, this is how you do it. This is how you got to do it. And that's what I'm always looking for. I'm like, thank you so much. Every time. I just did this last week on, what was it? A tax delinquency. We were struggling to get an accounting. I'm like, I've gotten it for 10 years. They won't give it to me anymore. I'm like, okay, I got to go out that way. Let me talk to him. And the lady goes, we've changed our policy. This is what we're doing. And she goes, let me tell you what you have to do. They're going to tell you this, but if you do this enough times, they just give it to you. I'm like, thank you. That's it. So try to get away from the email, man. It's brutal.
Okay. I do have their number. So I'll just give the lady
just keep
a call.
going, man. You're young, man.
37, man.
You're like a child. Yeah, it's so funny. When you get older, I'm like, man, I used to think 50-year-olds were old farts. Now, I am one. I'm just kind of looking like, how the hell did I get this age? But I didn't start till I was 33. Honestly, I need someone to put me in a headlock when I was 18 and go, you need to go wholesale. I'll change your life. And it's I didn't find that person in my life. So that's my goal right now. So, and I didn't put my son in a headlock. I have put him in a headlock, but not to do wholesaling. It was just to teach him wrestling. So
yeah.
I think whatever. Keep going, dude. You'll be fine. You're honestly, as I said, it's a 3 to 5 year grind total in wholesaling, and you're free forever. I'm literally telling you that. And honestly, I did it in 3 years. I could have probably done it in 2 but I was trying to work another job, so that took a year of my time away from it. So. I'm just here to tell you, and guys, I would give anything to jump back into anybody's age 20 years ago, because I would make so much damn money because I can't get time back. So now I'm trying to buy time back. How do I buy time back? I make a lot of money in real estate, and then I can pay for all the things that I would normally have to do myself. So, but dude, I'm the same guy, dude. I mowed my lawn until I was 34, 35, just because I was just drilled in my head, mow my lawn. I go, what kind of man doesn't mow his own lawn?
Yeah,
wash my car. I haven't done any of that stuff in a long time, but I do a lot of physical. I like doing physical stuff because you have to keep your body moving. You got to fight every day. So I met a guy at the gym the other day. He's 82 years old. Was absolutely amazing. I was like, oh my God. He goes, never stop working out. I'm like, I got that. So I'm a big proponent in physical exercise and just keeping moving.
Yeah, same here. Absolutely.
because that's what we were meant to do. If we sit around in chairs all day, we just turn the mush. That's why America's getting fat and lazy, and I hate it. But not on my dime.
Absolutely
So,
agree, man.
okay, Victor, let me know how that list works out.
Awesome. Thank you. Appreciate
Okay,
it, Rick.
man.
Thank you.
I'll see you.
All right. Take care.
See ya. What's up, Zachary?
Hey.
You got the right name.
Yeah, thank you. So I got some questions, mainly some about your son, and then some about basically my age and how I should go about things.
Okay. Have you talked to me or Zach before?
No, I have not.
Oh, okay. Okay, cool, man. Okay,
So
shoot.
I just turned 17. I've been studying wholesaling for around 6-ish months now, and
Okay.
mainly I'm trying to focus on pre-foreclosures because when the recession does come around and people are going to panic sell their houses, I assumed it'd be easier for me to grab some of those leads and stuff in terms of
Okay.
deals. Although, what would be the best way to contact those? Because I know sometimes I've been focusing on cold calling recently, and I was also going to ask a question on when Zach was 17, how often was he cold calling? Like, how many hours a day would he do it, and at what frequency?
Okay. So I'm going to give you a little caveat. Don't use Zach as a measuring bar because the kid's got something a little bit loose wired into him. If I told you how much cold calling that I don't want to discourage people. Zach's the type of kid when he does it, like he just doesn't stop. Like it's a motor like I've never seen. So that's why he did really good in sporting activities and stuff like that. He was never the most gifted or talented athlete, but he was the one who's going to work the hardest. And wholesaling is like no different. The challenge is getting the numbers and then making the phone calls. So the kid used to sit at the dinner table, and I swear to you on this, and make phone calls. And I had to like, dude, put the phone down. I'm all about the business. He goes, hold on, and you get a deal. He walk out. He goes, Dad, I got a deal. You're gonna be happy with it. I'm just like, and I looked at my wife. I'm like, I can't stop him. And then when he went away to college, he convinced his entire dorm room to call, and he came up with we came up with a cash system, and people got like $500 for every deal they did. It got so bad, I was dragging up $10,000-$20,000 things of cash, and I mean, like I had too much fun in college, but like it was just kind of funny how to watch that whole thing, and all these kids were studying to be doctors and engineers, and like they're like, Zach, man, I don't understand how you make all this goddamn money. It was just like, and to this day, they're like, it's tough being a doctor and all this stuff. So he went to one of the more prestigious schools in Florida. So like the amount of time I'm here to tell you, you can't overspend time in cold calling other than burning yourself out. So like you're 17. So let me ask you, how did you get introduced to wholesaling, and kind of like what's your game plan? Because like, dude, you're incredibly young, which even having this conversation is amazing.
I feel
So
like
tell
I've
me
been
a little
taking
bit
it
about
too
your
fast
story.
recently.
What's that?
Well, I also feel like I've been taking it a bit too quickly recently, not realizing my age and acting as if I only have a year to get like 10 deals under my belt, or else everything's going to go wrong or stuff like that. But mainly how it started was I started off with like other things like drop shipping, other entrepreneur type stuff when I was around 14, 15.
My
I
son
was
did
just
that exact same thing.
scouring the internet constantly. I was obsessed with it, trying to find anything that I could do. But then all those were oversaturated. You had to be in the business for a while. You had to spend a lot of money on
Yeah.
marketing. And I didn't have money, but I had lots of time. So I was searching around, and I found wholesaling when I was around right when I turned 16. And then I dropped it for around 3 to 4 months, and then I went back to it. And I would watch, YouTube videos daily, talk with more people that are like have been doing it for a couple of years, have them under their belt. I've already gotten a couple deals down, and I kind of got obsessed with just the whole process of itself. And my goal is mainly because I still have 2 years of high school left. I'm going to be a junior. My goal personally is by when I go to college to have a minimum of like, let's say 5 deals, 6 deals done minimum. and I'm cold calling around, or my plan is to, since I have so much time on my hands, and it's also the summer right now, and I
Uh-huh.
only go to the gym and so hang out with friends occasionally. I have lots of time on my hands,
Yeah.
so usually our plan is to do cold calling maybe 5 hours a day, and then spend like 2 hours a day networking, which usually I've been doing already. Um, but it's more of, I feel like I'm going way too fast, and I feel like I'm gonna end up making a really wrong move without the proper knowledge, obviously, because
Okay.
I've only been in this for less than a year. So,
Okay. So let me ask you, what drew you to wholesaling?
well, I'm really good at talking to people.
Okay.
I'm good at building rapport, which also drive me towards it. I've also, there's a kid I met uh, in my high school who's gotten a couple of deals done, same age as me. He's made 60 grand, I believe.
Okay.
Uh, and it was one of the only things I could find, because I also like real estate. I enjoyed, looking at houses. I'm like, how could I incorporate this into something that can make me money at a young age? And I used to think that real estate you had to have hundreds of thousands of dollars to make passively from it, or just make any money from it at all. But once I finally figured out that, you can start wholesaling at any age. You don't need a license. You don't need anything. That's really just kind of like opened my eyes to what's possible and how much money I can make if I just put in the time and work, you know, every single day.
So
But
do you do any type of you have a part-time job or you do anything else on the side?
well, I do bodybuilding. But other than that,
Okay.
I mean, I also occasionally might hang out with friends, but I usually spend the majority of my time working towards this because it's just something I've obsessed about, and
Okay.
I've currently I'm spending around 3 hours a day on it, just because I'm also reading a bunch of books on financial literacy, trying to get myself set up there, just so obviously I'm
You
smart with my money once I do get it. Um, but overall, uh, my days are not packed at all, and so
okay.
usually my goal would be to spend around 5 hours a day cold calling.
So
Uh,
here's my suggestion to you, okay? It's incredible at 17 you're thinking like this because at 17 I did everything wrong, dude. All I did was like chase girls. When I got money, I just spent it as fast as possible. But different world, different time.
mhm,
Um, it just nobody taught me like how the world works. So the fact that you're exploring it, I would suggest you try to find a lane that you're comfortable with it. So like Zach, he tried the auto shipping too, and like I saw the business, I'm like, this is crazy. Um, and so he
mhm,
tried a lot of different things. And when he came back to real estate, he's like, can I make it work? I go, I know wholesaling works. I've been doing it 20 years. Like you've already had friends that have proven the model. So it works. It's not easy though. It's like the biggest
yeah, it's
problem for
work.
business is people over glorify it. Like, click your computer, make 20 grand, do nothing. It's all BS. Like it occasionally happens like that, but they don't show you the thousands of hours they did it before.
Mhm,
If you can pick a lane you want to do and go, man, wholesaling's it. Like I get it. Here's the really cool thing at something you don't have to do wholesaling the rest of your life. I'm just here to tell you, like, honestly, 5 years, do whatever you want. Like if I went and kept all the money I made from 2003 to date, I would have been probably retired and done. But I bought a house on the beach. I bought this crap. I bought stupid stuff. And I'm here to tell you, you can do that and then you can expand your financial literacy. Like there's
mhm,
like how we're just talking online, there's incredible businesses like you can do with that with your knowledge and skills, whatever you decide to get, even if it's in wholesaling or just finance, real estate. The world's completely different. I would find a lane that you're really comfortable going deep in. And
that's
because you're
what
so
I was gonna
young,
do for real estate.
I wouldn't obsess about your plan right now. Because most people at 17, I didn't make a decision until I was 33 in life. Okay.
Wow.
So 16 years after you. I don't want you to feel like you have to take this moment and go, okay, I got to do this. I got to do this. It's like find a lane. I've been doing wholesaling for 20 years. Dude, it pays
Mhm,
very, very well. Um, but I did it when I didn't have a lot of money and I didn't know what the hell I was doing either. And I still made it. You're going to be in that exact same boat. So when Zach was 17, I taught him, And he made the most money in the beginning when I just did what I tell him to do. Most people that do well, they take freewholesaling.com and they literally just implement it, and they
I've
make
already done
little,
your course.
yeah.
The whole
The
thing.
people that struggle with it, they want to change everything they want to put their own lenses on and go, well, I don't want to do this. I'm going to try this. I'm just like, okay, that's not how it works, but go ahead and try it out. You're going to fail miserably. And I tell people that, dude, if you paid a guy 10 grand and you took my course would crush it every time. And I'm here to tell you, find a lane you want to go deep in, and understanding you're not stuck in that lane, especially at 17, for God's sakes. Honestly, at 24, 25, you could be so financially free. You can do whatever you want. Then you can hire other people to do your wholesaling for you. Zach runs my entire wholesaling department. I just look at deals on paper. Like, I'm so bored right now. I hop in the car with people. I go, let's go look at real estate. I miss it, man. And that's why I know I love wholesaling, because when I get out of it, I could never, ever do another wholesaling deal and I would be financially fine. But like, the business does so well, what the hell would I ever close it down for? So like, we make a minimum of $1 million just on we run a small wholesaling operation, but we keep all the money. Like, I don't have 9 million different partners. The thing is, you got to watch for in wholesaling, you're going to see a bunch of people advertise a bunch of, I don't even say the word, a lot of hype and BS. Most of it's just BS. So, I saw someone the other day, he goes, we done $50 million in real estate. I go, that's funny. You started 8 years after me. I've watched you pretty carefully. I don't know how you pulled up $50 million and it missed my radar. It's impossible. Oh, that's right. You're speaking on the stage. Now it's 50 million. Everything they stay on stage for the most part, it's just to promote you guys, to sell you guys something. And then you think that's the way it's supposed to be, and you get stuck in this. The reality is most wholesalers have a net worth of under $15 million. Very few have more than 10 million, and most of them are within a mil or less. That's the truth. That's 95% of them. But I will tell you, wholesaling from where you are, why it's so advantageous is because you have very little risk. You don't have to have capital. And if you're good at talking people, you basically wind up kind of being the middleman. Even though we're selling the contract, you will do very well. That's why it works very, very well for you, because you don't have to know a lot, and you could still make a couple $100,000 a year as you're like trying to figure things out. Like, dude, your brain doesn't even fully develop to like your early 30s. So you choose what you want to do with your time. Zach is the extreme case, and I don't try to have everybody measure up to my son, because it's not fair, because I didn't figure this crap out till I was 33. Zach figured it out when he was 17. So you're somewhere like in the middle. So like, the biggest thing is, don't like figure your plan up overnight. Get excited that you're 17 and thinking like this. The fact that you're like trying to figure out financial literacy and all this other stuff, absolutely amazing. Okay. Like, Zach was told by so many people that college would be the best 4 years of his life. And Zach goes, are you kidding me? I'm like, and I told Zach, I go, just get through college as fast as you can. Get through it.
That was kind of,
and now
my
when he's
parents
through
used
college,
to.
all his friends are coming down to Florida, and they all want to work for Zach. Zach's like, listen, I like you, but you ain't working for me. Like, I remember how you were in college. Like, that's brutal. So, dude, you're so far. Oh my God, dude. Like, you should be like really like excited.
I mean, yeah, I'm excited.
I spent all my youth like doing everything wrong. And it sounds like you're not doing any of that, but like, you still got to enjoy your life. You got to hang out with your friends and have a good time. And, dude, I think you should marry wholesaling and run with it 5 years. And then that's going to allow you to pivot to all the other things you can do in life. Could you imagine by like 24, 25, put $1 million in the bank, and then you can open up all the other avenues, and you'll see so many. Real estate's going to have some changes and with technology and stuff like that. And then you'll be able to grab that curb, and then you can hop on YouTube or whatever crap's going to be out by then. And then you can be the expert in your early 20s, and then you can grow a revenue stream off of that and do some stuff like that. And like, we're always looking for like younger people to come in and figure it out. So I'm excited for you, man. I'd go, man, I don't talk to many 17-year-olds like that think like this. So like, I always thought, I'm like, Zach, I go, man, like, you're there like a rare, like, freak exception. And he just got it. Like, I don't know. I did everything opposite. So people like, how'd you raise Zach? I go, honestly, I didn't figure it out till late. And he watched me when I did it late. If my son was around when I was earlier, God help him, because I wouldn't have been able to help him out. So
Yeah.
schools. So your plan is to go to college, right?
Yeah, I'm going to college. I was gonna do coding as like a fallback, but my
Yeah.
whole plan was to just focus on real estate my whole life, do wholesaling for the first couple of years, then open up a small business, hire a bunch of VAs to do wholesaling for me, and then start doing real estate investing, Airbnbs, house hacking, seller finance, creative finance, all these different
Yeah.
methods. But my main goal, and one reason I also am so interested in wholesaling at the moment and why I want to mainly focus on it, is also because in a couple of months from now, doing pre-foreclosures, at least for me, is my main goal. I'm just narrowing my tunnel vision towards this one thing. I don't want to, do everything
Yeah.
at once. If I just focus on pre-foreclosures and get good with talking with people, when the recession does come and people do lose their jobs, I was mainly planning that it would be a lot easier for me to grab those deals, especially as a beginner,
Yeah.
because people are going to have motivation behind selling their houses.
You're on
So
it. So what
yeah,
market are you in?
I'm in Indianapolis.
Oh my God, dude. Like I've done a lot of deals over there. So it's like, we do really well over there. I'm not
There's a
doing
bunch
it.
of pre-foreclosures over here. I have PropStream, and
Yeah.
there was a couple. There was like 2,000 or something.
So just come up with a plan. But I'm like here to tell you, like, wholesaling is the thing that can jumpstart your financial aptitude, like, to another. Because imagine if you put $1 million in the bank, like what you could do with your education, learning the next 5 years
Mhm.
about money. But your goal's got to be get that for that. That was Zach's whole deal. He's like, I just want to put he wanted to rack up $1 million. Like, it wasn't hard, and it was like done
Yeah.
very, very fast. And if you want to do the same plan, so I think you're well on. I would go all into wholesaling, but I'm biased. So but
Yeah,
here's the one
that
thing
was
is you
my
don't
main
you don't
plan.
want to spread yourself so thin. So here's what I do. Wholesaling is earned income, as I was talking about earlier. You got to take that, earn it, and then you use your financial education. Like, how can I grow this? And you've got a
Mhm.
ton of time between stocks. And I don't advise you on, like, I'm not a stock expert. I get my ass kicked in there all the time. But for the most part, I do well. Digital assets, I do that stuff too. But I'm like a rookie, dude. You're probably more advanced in that than I am.
Yeah.
And that's what but the wholesaling will give you that money to get that first couple $100,000. That couple $100,000 in 3 or 4 years will be worth $1 million if you invest it right very quickly. And if you're disciplined, like
Mhm.
the fact you're even having this conversation with me, you'll do very, very well. Here's the last piece of
Yeah, I've already
advice.
spent like
Don't follow like 9 million people in wholesaling. It's very confusing. Everyone's got a different technique. The problem is you don't know who's real and who's not. So you just spend a little time on a live and go, okay, figure out. I've been doing this like 20 years. Just be careful. A lot of the guys from 2013, 14, they've only known a market that shoots through the roof. They have no
Mhm.
idea how to deal with people and really in foreclosure. So,
Yeah.
and then in free wholesaling, just learn the reverse driving for dollars. It works really well in the
Yeah,
foreclosures.
with the Post-it notes.
Works really well. It's very efficient. Honestly, I didn't do that when I started. I got my butt kicked every door. I got bit by a dog. I got spit on, like really bad stuff. I
Wow.
wanted to deal really bad, dude. That's how bad I wanted it. I'm like, okay, I'll deal with it.
Mhm.
I go, let me just go get
I
this wound
mean,
cleaned up and I'll go to the next one. So let me ask you one last thing here. What do your parents think of it?
my my mom is extremely supportive. My dad is also extremely supportive. They
Okay.
both weren't entrepreneurs themselves, and they still want me to go to college and get a job, but they are pretty much fully fine with me going full throttle into this. I should
Okay.
be getting an LLC just for the sake of having one within a couple of days too. But yeah, they're all for it. They're not against it. They don't think it's a scam. They think it's something I can genuinely
Okay.
make money from.
So the fact that you can go from like living with your parents, finishing your education. Here's how I look at college. Just get through it as fast as you can. Anything you can finish high school, get it done. And any
Hmm.
type of grant, scholarship, like, because the prices they put on this stuff's like ridiculous. And just get through it as fast as you can and make as many connections as you humanly possibly can. And that's it. That's
Yeah,
the purpose of college. Move on. I'm not here to debate if college is good or bad. It's okay. But I went and got a finance degree, and I learned how to read financial statements. So even though I got strong C's in college, I still walked away learning how to read financial documents. So try to pick something in college that you'll actually walk out with a skill if you want to stick to business. So accounting, finance, marketing is a complete waste in college. Don't do it. I'm just telling you, it will set you back. It only teaches you how to market with large, giant, multi-billion-dollar corporations. So it'll set you up for a job. And then just understand, you understand for the job. You just don't want to be a W-2 employee. Don't do it. If you can avoid it and you have a choice for a career, do not pick being a W-2 employee. That's why they pay the most in taxes and they get killed here. So,
yeah.
Okay. Hey, Rissa, I appreciate all the comments in there, but like, can you just slow it up? Because nobody can comment. I'm not going to block you, but if you could just help us out, I appreciate your information. So, Zachary, hey, connect with my son. He's on, what is it? He'll be on tomorrow and Wednesday.
Doesn't he go on Tuesdays?
Yeah, he goes Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and now Sunday.
Okay.
So,
yeah.
He's a little bit more to the point to me, but it's like I get excited to hear a 17-year-old kid talking about it because listen, like you're completely different, and honestly, you need to like talk to your friends and stuff because the funny thing is I had to go to a funeral last week. I had to connect with all my friends back from like when I was in high school. I look around, dude, all fat, out of shape, hate their job, hate their wife. I look around, I'm like, man, like, I don't know what you guys did after I left, man, but I made some changes. And
I actually recently dropped a lot of friends, mainly just because they didn't have any goals in life. And I've mainly just been networking with other kids my age, like 16, 19-year-olds online, just in different states too, for doing JV deals in the future, try and crank out multiple deals at once. But I haven't found a single person like that I've actually met that is, other than one kid, which I barely knew, that is actually, focused on their future, so it's hard for me to surround, at least in high school, to surround people that actually care about, their financial situation, everything like that. But I'm still working on networking.
So you figure out, Zachary, I mean, 95% of the world is broke. So you're in the 5%. Honestly, when you get into wholesaling, you get in like the top 3 to 2%. And then the idea is to push yourself, get that $1 million, and then get in the 1%. That's how you do it. I'm just telling you. Like, I had somebody who's like, I don't know if I can wholesale the rest of my life. I go, honestly, 2-3 years, if you do it right, you never have to do it again. If that's
you don't need to.
I'm one of these sick guys. I actually love it, man. I absolutely love it because wholesaling, by the way, you can take the same thing and you can do it with multi-million-dollar buildings, 25, 50 million. So I network with guys that like make me feel like I'm broke, $100 million guys. And it's just like, they're not scared to drop 15, 20 million on a deal. And like, I watch how it works out. And so I'm a partner on 2 smaller deals, like $1 million, but it's like nerve wracking, man. I'm just like, yeah, it's normal. I'm like, but
I'm not.
That's it, man. And you just keep pushing and going. Listen, you can be friends with a lot of your original friends, but you just got to kind of keep them at bay, like to a point. And then it's like, I learned a long time ago that, drinking and partying, like you just made terrible decisions when you like do all that.
I've never done it, and I probably will never do it. I'm glad because if I did,
you're a lot like my son. So like a lot of people ask me like, this tattoo right here. I just made a life decision. I said, dude, I don't need it. Like I don't need it. Like it just because it's a progressive thing that builds up and it takes out 70% of this country has a problem with it. And it's just like, so I look at it, my previous family members and stuff like that. Just, you're a special kid, man. Just keep doing what you're doing. Like you're on the right path. Unfortunately, 9 out of 10 people think you're nuts because you're not being a kid.
Nobody in my friend group would believe me or anything.
So just fine. So like, honestly, do me a favor. Make sure you subscribe to my channel, my son's channel. And then
I have.
Yeah, we do a live on Thursday night, and I put something up here. I got a 17-year-old kid's got a window cleaning business, and
I see that.
Just connect with them. But like, join our Facebook group. You can find some people naturally, and just keep doing what you're doing. I could talk to 100 kids like this all day long, because that's awesome. Because I wish somebody grabbed me by the shirt at your age and go, listen here, like you're doing it all wrong. And I didn't have that. Now, I had a single mother at the time. She did the best she could, but it was like, that's it. And so many of us fathers, we need to help these kids out, because these schools are not going to teach you. They're going to teach you to be broke and an employee the rest of your life, because they want your taxes.
Like,
and I'm not here to get on like a government thing, but I'm just telling you, if you guys are upset about taxes, read the rules. It's like Monopoly. I pay very little in taxes, but I invest it all back through depreciation, through payroll. I pay a fortune in taxes, but I'm not going to pay more than I have to. W-2, you don't have a choice. You make 50,000, they're going to take 25% of it right off the bat. By the time you're done with sales tax, gas tax, no matter what you do, 40 to 50% is going out of your pocket. So the last thing is, make sure you stick to, me and Zach teaches that 20% rule. You'd be the perfect guy for it.
Okay. Yeah. I'm always updated on
20%. You spend 20% of what you make, and the rest is not yours. Half's going to go to the government when it's all said and done. The other half you're going to invest to grow your net worth. If you can do that, and if you go, well, I have 50 grand, 20, that's only $10,000. Well, go make more money. Stop pitching pennies. You will never save yourself to become rich. It's never going to happen. You have to go out and get streams of income, and you have to grow your money. So shit, I'd have done anything to do it at 17. Sorry about the language. So. Okay, Zachy, I could talk to you all day, man. I love kids like this. So give your parents a pat on the back, and you're in the right direction. I don't care what anybody tells you. Just tell them. Okay?
Okay.
Okay, but I'll talk to you later. Ann, you there?
Yes, I am. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we're in the bonus round here. I'm going to leave in like 5 minutes.
Okay.
I promise I'd talk to Jamie too. So.
Okay. So I'm going to be quick here. I heard you say that at the beginning that you hated cold calling. I'm the same way, so how did you get over that hump? Because
you want to know how I got over it? I didn't do it. I didn't do it. Why set yourself up for failure if you know you're going to hate it?
Okay. So what strategy did you take, to offset the cold calling? I did
door knocking, and I did small batches of direct mail.
Okay.
And I networked with every realtor that even slightly associated that would hear me out in my given area.
Okay.
I think I talked to 182 realtors, and I got 3 to hear me out. A lot of rejection, and 2 of them got me 3 deals.
Okay, yeah, because I tried to work with realtors. Maybe they're getting it now, but they just don't understand the wholesale.
So here's the thing is, here's the secret. Don't teach them wholesaling, because you'll never do it. You just teach them. Go, listen, if you ever come across someone that's got a house that you know is not up to par, you know is going to struggle on an inspection and needs some money and some interjection, and they just want to sell it now, call me, and I'll get your full commissions paid. That's it. Don't explain wholesaling. Okay. You're wasting your time.
Okay. And secondly,
you got to start there, because then if they could produce something for you, then you can have a little bit deeper conversation about wholesaling and that. But honestly, if you scare them off in the bat, they'll never, ever send you a deal. I learned that the hard way.
Okay. That's great advice. Okay. And I, on your site, I clicked on the links for the postcards and things like that. They say site not found.
I'll have to check it,
okay.
but I'll meet with Zach in the morning, and I'll double check it. I'll fix it. Did you go to mailingmastery.com?
Yes.
Okay. I'll fix. We had one of our vendors, they did a rework on the site, and we've been working through this. So I'll have it up and running tomorrow. I promise. Okay. If not, hit me on the live Thursday, and you can hold me accountable for it. I'm going to make a note of it right here.
Okay. I'm going to try to hop on a little bit earlier, because my job is ending Friday. And so I said, hey, I need to, jump on this.
Okay. I'll fix that, but it's pretty straight. I'll fix it. I know what the problem is, so I'll fix it.
Okay.
I
I'll let you
promise.
get to the other person, and I'll
Okay.
call you in later this week and with a little bit
Okay.
more
And you know
time.
where I am now. See, now you can get me on Monday nights. Pretty cool.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Awesome. Okay.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, Jamie, let's go.
Okay, I'll be fast. So I was calling for sale by owners. That's what I started with. It's doing pretty well, I guess you could say. But essentially, I want to jump to something a little bit more easier to work, like not probates actually. I guess my question is, which one would you pick that has the less amount of nuance? So you can just jump in and start calling, start building relationships, and get get them to sell their houses.
Okay, so I'm going to give you the same advice I give everyone. You're going to pick the one that you want to do. Like there's no magic formula here. You're going to get rejected on all of them. You just got to you have to pick. They all work. But the problem is like every market has different nuances, and like I don't study. There's so many markets out there, and I have my own like issues within my market because like what happens in Florida and what you do, like two different stories. What you have to do is go deep dive in them and give it some time. And then from the feedback, you can make a decision if you want to stick it out or not. The problem is most people is they dabble in it for a couple of days. Like, that didn't work. That's dude, a couple of days is not enough to give you enough data to see if it's not going to work. And understanding markets constantly shift. We're in a weird spot in real estate right now. Everyone's telling you like stuff's going to dive off of a cliff. I don't know if it is. I'm just being brutally honest. Like there's a 50-50 chance now that we could have a soft landing and real estate just gets a little blip here. I don't know, man. I'm sick of like guessing it. Like only God knows. And we have to deal with today. So a lot of these people think and wait, I'm going to wait till everything massively forecloses. They're not wholesalers. Like wholesalers, you just get in and do it now. You've got to pick one that you believe in and you got to go deep into it. I mean, deep, like 1,000+ calls to figure it out. You can't do like 40 or 50 calls and go, I'm not sure. And then you keep scattering like all over the place. And there is no perfect channel, especially in cold calling. Like, I'm going to be honest with you. Like I've had sometimes where we've called off the FSBOs and we've done really well. And then we go months with nothing. And then we do the pre-foreclosure list. Kind of, it's like all over the board. So we look at everything and we put it in one big pool and then we just go at it. Like we don't care where it comes from. If there's any type of motivation they want to sell, go for it. I don't blame you. You're trying to find the fastest path to get a deal.
But wouldn't the script be different? I mean, if you're talking to a probate person, then
probate, yes, but probates are very small. They're very small. They're not huge lists. Okay. The other ones, for the most part, are you the owner of the property? Do you have interest in selling? Honestly, because 98% of the rejection is going to come in those first two questions. You got to get past that. That's the hardest part of cold calling. Once they start answering your questions, it's actually kind of easy. But everybody hates the first part of it. That's the reason I never did cold calling. That's the reason Zach goes, hell, let me attack it. And somebody asked, well, how much time does Zach do it? I go, honestly, I couldn't even tell you. It was obscene though. He was sometimes going 8, 9, 10 hours in a day. He was so hell bent on getting a deal. I don't recommend that for everyone. That's a little obsessive, but if you know my son, that's how he is. So,
and how long did it took him 10 or 8 hour work days to get his first deal?
Well, remember, cold calling back in 2017 was a little bit different than it is today. I'll be the first one to tell you. It was never easier. It wasn't as saturated to a point. But I got friends like their entire operation, all they do is cold call. Like they will never do anything else. From an efficiency standpoint on paper, it's perfect. The reality, you being a one-man army, it sucks. Like that's just the truth. You got to get through the pain to get it done because you want to get some money so you can get some help so you can get other people. What you're failing to understand is why you're doing it is you're learning a skill set that you can easily train someone else to do. But you got to have certain successes before you can train them, because a lot of people think they can go out there in this business and then they can just hire someone. They all get killed because you don't know if they're good at cold calling. You don't know what KPIs to look at. You don't know how many calls they need to make. You don't even know if they're calling the right people. And you're on that journey right now. And that's what you have to figure out. Once Zach mastered that, it took him about almost 2.5 years. Then we brought in other people. And then he confidently trained him. And the minute we knew somebody was lying to us or it wasn't good, we just got rid of them. And we were confident in it. If Zach didn't go through that journey, I probably would have never hired someone to do cold calling. But like, here's the part is like, once you do it and you're done, then you can move on. You can decide to go, hey, I could do that. But
skill for life.
Yeah, it is. Get it done and get it done early. I didn't do it, man. Like, it just wasn't in my skill set. And I was one of those old dogs you couldn't teach a new trick to. So you're young. Like, if you can master this, but cold calling, just so you know, every facet of business, everybody does it. It doesn't matter what business they're in. Somebody has a team of cold callers. So you're doing it your first. I get it. It sucks. Get through it. Figure it out. Get some deals on your belt. Document your process. And then bring in a VA and you ride them like a mule, because now you're spending your hard-earned money. Like, oh, no. I'd make 500 calls and I would get a deal. And this is what you're going to do. And honestly, if Zach didn't go through that experience, we could have never hired people to do it for us. I watch people all the time. I'm just getting started wholesaling. I hired 3 cold callers. I'm like, kiss $5,000 goodbye. You'll never see that again. They're not going to do it. They're going to lie to you the whole time. I've been through it. You know how many cold callers I hired before I did Zach? I went through probably 30K. I never got a deal. So I was saving you a $30,000 expense by going through this journey. You're going to have to look at the data and find stuff. And you know what? As your market shifts, sometimes your data is going to shift too. Sometimes the FSBOs gets really hot. FSBOs are a pain in the ass still for the most part right now. There's certain pockets in the country it's starting to really like fester up, but depends on where you are in the country. I don't have a pin for all that stuff. So you're going to have to stay really in tune with your market. And make sure you look up your local real estate stats from your real estate association. They're usually all online. Now they're trailing 3 to 4 months, but you can gauge inventory. If inventory goes up, it should be easier to connect with motivated sellers. In Florida, inventory is still, it's barely creeping up. It's ridiculous. We're at 1.6 months. We need to be at 7 to 9 months to have a balanced market. So I don't know, but interest rates are supposed to go up this week again, which ticks off a lot of homeowners too, because they can't refinance and they can't buy. So
okay,
you got it, man. Okay, bud. I'm an old man. I got to go get some sleep, man. But come on, you keep it. Listen, Jamie. I appreciate you because at least you utilize and you make these calls, and you at least you're trying, and you just keep going through it and you'll get there. But there's no shortcut to this journey, unfortunately. The only shortcut is you find a partner that goes, man, I love cold calling. You go, here you go. How much money you need? And that's what I did with Zach. He's like, okay. And that was it. But honestly, without Zach, but I would have survived without calling. But remember, I was up and running. So if I did cold calling when I was 17, 18, oh my God, it would have been devastating. But I probably would have one of those rotary phones because I'm so old, So, okay, Jamie, I'm sure I'll see you on Thursday. I'll talk to you, bud.
All right. Talk to you.
Okay, guys, I appreciate it. So Zach will be on tomorrow and Wednesday. Me and Zach on Thursday, 5 p.m. Eastern. And then I'll be back on Friday night. So hop on the one-on-ones. Guys, make sure you go to my YouTube channel, Rick Ginn. Make sure you subscribe there. I've got some really cool content I'm releasing this week, and it'll be consistent. And that way you guys kind of get the whole thing. So, guys, I will see you Thursday with Zach, and Zach will see you tomorrow. I appreciate it. You guys have a great night. Really good conversation. I enjoy doing this, and I'll see you guys in a few days. See you.